The church bells tolled ominously as the lawyer's voice cut through the hushed crowd at Richard Harrington's funeral, announcing that Grant, the adopted son, would inherit 90% of the vast estate. Gasps rippled through the family pews, eyes darting to Grant's stoic face, while his stepmother, Evelyn, clutched her pearls in disbelief. But as the will's final clause hinted at a profound personal bond, Grant's heart pounded, knowing the truth about his relationship with Ben, Richard's biological son, was a ticking bomb ready to shatter everything. Grant stood there, rain pattering against the stained glass windows like accusations, his mind racing back to the day Richard had pulled him aside in the study. "Son," Richard had said, his voice gravelly from years of boardroom battles, "I've seen the way you look at Ben, and I've seen him look back." Grant had frozen, denial bubbling up, but Richard's eyes held no judgment, only a weary understanding forged in his own hidden regrets. Adopted at 12 after his parents' car crash, Grant had always felt like an outsider in the Harrington mansion, a sprawling estate in upstate New York where old money whispered through oak-paneled halls. Ben, 2 years older, had been his anchor, first as a brother figure, teaching him to ride bikes and sneak cookies, then as something deeper, unspoken until that fateful summer night by the lake. It started innocently enough, or so Grant told himself in those endless nights of self-doubt. They were teenagers, hormones raging, society's expectations looming like storm clouds. Ben, with his easy smile and athletic build, was the golden child, destined for Harvard and the family business. Grant, slimmer, more introspective, buried himself in books to prove his worth. But one evening, after a family barbecue where Evelyn's pointed comments about Grant's lack of ambition stung like barbs, Ben found him on the dock, feet dangling in the water. "She's just scared you'll outshine us all," Ben said, sitting close, their shoulders brushing. Grant's pulse quickened, a forbidden warmth spreading. "What if I don't belong here?" he whispered. Ben turned, their faces inches apart. "You belong with me." The kiss that followed was tentative, electric, a spark that ignited years of suppressed longing. From then on, their relationship was a secret dance, stolen moments in the shadows of privilege. Grant wrestled with guilt, his inner voice a constant torment. "This is wrong. He's your brother in name, but what if society sees it that way? What about the family?" Ben, more confident, brushed it off. "We're not blood-related. Dad would understand." But Grant knew better. The Harrington name carried weight in conservative circles, where whispers of scandal could topple empires. Richard, a widower who remarried Evelyn after adopting Grant, had built his fortune in real estate, rubbing shoulders with politicians who preached family values. Exposing their love could mean disownment, ruin. As the funeral service dragged on, Grant's thoughts spiraled. He remembered the confrontation last year, when Richard's health declined. Diagnosed with terminal cancer, the old man had summoned them both to his bedside. "I know about you too," he rasped, Evelyn out of earshot. Grant's stomach dropped, expecting rage, but Richard's hand trembled as he grasped theirs. "I lost my own chance at happiness once. Loved a man in college, but fear one. Don't let it win for you." Ben squeezed Grant's hand under the covers, a silent vow. Richard rewrote his will that night, leaving the bulk to Grant, with a trust for Ben tied to it, ensuring they could live freely without Evelyn's interference. "She'll fight it," Richard warned. "But this is my atonement." Evelyn's sobs echoed now, theatrical and sharp. She had always favored her biological children, Ben and their sister, Clara, treating Grant like a charity case. "How could he?" she hissed to Clara, who shot Grant a venomous glare. Clara, married to a senator's aide, embodied the family's polished facade. "It's unnatural," she'd once muttered when a cousin came out, her words slicing Grant like knives. He wondered if she suspected, if her disdain stemmed from intuition. Ben, seated across the aisle, met Grant's eyes briefly, a flicker of reassurance amid the storm. But inside, Grant churned. What if this destroys him? Am I selfish for wanting this? The reception at the mansion was a powder keg. Guests milled about, murmuring about the surprising bequest. Grant escaped to the garden, where memories flooded him. Here, he and Ben had shared their first real confession, under blooming roses. "I love you," Ben had said, voice breaking. "But we have to be careful." Grant had nodded, but doubt gnawed. Careful forever? Or until it breaks us? Now, with Richard gone, the weight pressed harder. Evelyn cornered him by the fountain. "This isn't right, Grant." Richard wasn't in his right mind. Her eyes narrowed. "What hold do you have over him?" Grant swallowed, the truth clawing at his throat. Tell her? Or let the lawyers handle it? But before he could respond, Ben appeared, his presence a shield. "Mom, let's not do this here." That night, alone in his old room, Grant paced, inner turmoil raging. "Richard gave me this to protect us. But at what cost? The family splintering, society judging." He thought of the will's sealed envelope, containing a letter explaining everything. Richard's blessing, his own past. Opening it would expose them, but hiding it felt like betrayal. Ben slipped in later, locking the door. "We can fight this together," he whispered, pulling Grant close. Their embrace was comfort, not passion, a reminder of the bond that defied labels. Yet Grant's mind screamed, "Is this love worth the wreckage?" The next morning brought the storm. Lawyers gathered the family in the study, Evelyn demanding a contest. "There's more to this," she insisted. Grant's hands shook as he handed over the envelope. The room fell silent as the letter was read aloud. Richard's confession of his youthful love, his regret, and his joy in seeing Grant and Ben find what he couldn't. "They are not brothers by blood, only by my choice. Let them be." Evelyn's face paled, then reddened with fury. This abomination," she spat. Clara gasped. "How could you, Ben?" "With him." Ben stood tall, but Grant saw the crack in his armor, the fear mirroring his own. "We've unleashed hell," Grant thought, guilt flooding him. Was Richard's gift a curse? Word spread like wildfire through their social circle. Friends distanced themselves, business partners pulled out. Grant fielded calls from reporters sniffing scandal. Adopted heir's gay affair with brother Rock's Harrington legacy. The headlines twisted it, ignoring nuances, fueling debates on adoption, family, and morality. Grant retreated inward. Am I a monster for loving him? Or is society the monster for condemning us? Ben tried to hold strong, but cracks showed. "Maybe we should deny it," he suggested one night, voice hollow. Grant's heart ached. Deny us? After everything? The choice loomed. Fight for their love or dissolve into the shadows Richard had escaped. As tensions peaked, Evelyn filed to contest the will, citing undue influence. The courtroom became their battlefield, witnesses dredging up pasts. Grant testified, voice steady but soul fracturing. "Dad wanted us happy." Inside, he questioned, happy at whose expense? The courtroom air was thick with unspoken accusations. Evelyn's lawyer painting Grant as a manipulator who preyed on Richard's vulnerability. "This so-called bond is nothing but exploitation." The attorney sneered, eyes raking over Grant and Ben like they were exhibits in a freak show. Grant sat rigid, his mind a whirlwind of doubt. Did I exploit Dad's guilt? Was our love his blind spot? Ben's hand brushed his under the table, a fleeting touch that grounded him, yet amplified the ache. The judge's gavel echoed like a death knell, adjourning for the day, but the real trial raged within. Back at the mansion, now a divided territory with Evelyn claiming the East Wing, Grant wandered the halls, memories assaulting him. He recalled the winter Richard discovered them, not in anger, but in quiet conference. "Society isn't ready," Richard had said, pouring scotch with trembling hands. "But I'll make sure you are." That promise now felt like a noose. Grant's inner voice tormented. You accepted his protection, but did you deserve it? Ben's life was set. Yours was the wild card. Ben found him in the library, shelves of leather-bound books mocking their chaos. "We can't let her win," Ben urged, his usual confidence frayed. "But what if she's right?" Grant whispered. What if we're tearing everything apart? Ben's eyes filled with pain. Then we rebuild together. Clara's betrayal cut deepest. Once a confidant, she now aligned with Evelyn, whispering to the press about family perversion. At a tense dinner, she confronted them. How long, Ben? Since we were kids? It's disgusting. Ben's fork clattered. We're not kids anymore, Clara. And it's not disgust. It's love. Grant watched, heart twisting. Her words echo my fears. Am I poisoning this family? Later, alone, he stared at the ceiling, thoughts spiraling. Love shouldn't require destruction, but denying it feels like suicide. The media frenzy intensified. Talk shows debating adopted siblings in love, taboo or triumph. Grant avoided it, but Ben obsessed, scrolling articles late into night. They're calling us freaks, Ben muttered, face illuminated by the screen. Grant pulled him away. Let them talk. We know the truth. But inwardly, Grant crumbled. Do we? Is our truth worth the hate? A call from an old friend, now distant, confirmed it. Grant, this is career suicide. Think about your future. Future? Without Ben, what future? Evelyn's testimony was a dagger. On the stand, tears streaming, she recounted Richard's final days. He was delirious, influenced by Grant's sob stories. The lawyer pressed. And this relationship? Evelyn's voice cracked. It's unnatural. Richard would never approve. Grant's fists clenched. She never knew him, not really. But her pain is real. Am I the villain? Ben squeezed his knee, but the doubt festered. Post-court, they escaped to a cabin in the Adirondacks, Richard's secret retreat. There, amid pine scents, they talked raw. I sometimes wish we'd never started, Grant admitted, voice breaking. Ben recoiled. You regret us? No, Grant said. I regret the hurt. Their argument escalated, voices echoing. You're giving up, Ben accused. I'm protecting you, Grant shot back. Silence fell, heavy with unspoken fears. Is this the end? Grant wondered, the thought unbearable. Returning, they found the mansion besieged by reporters. Evelyn had leaked the letter, twisting it into scandal fodder. Protests formed outside, conservative groups chanting, family first, LGBTQ advocates countering with, love is love. Grant felt torn. We're symbols now, not people. Did Dad foresee this? Ben, usually stoic, broke down. I can't lose you, but I can't lose them either. Grant held him, but inside, choose or be chosen for. The judge called for mediation. In a sterile room, Evelyn faced them. Why? She pleaded. Why destroy our family? Ben spoke first. Mom, it's not destruction. It's truth. Grant added softly. Dad wanted this. Evelyn's eyes softened momentarily, then hardened. He was wrong. The session ended in stalemate, but Grant saw her crack. Her anger masks grief. Like mine. Nights blurred into agony. Grant journaled furiously. Love demands sacrifice, but whose? Ben's family or our future? A dream haunted him, Richard alive, disapproving. Waking sweat-soaked, he questioned everything. Was his blessing real or pity? As the trial resumed, new evidence surfaced. Richard's old letters from college, confirming his past love. The courtroom buzzed. Evelyn gasped. He never told me. The revelation humanized Richard, but deepened wounds. Grant thought. Secrets breed more secrets. Am I perpetuating the cycle? Ben's testimony was pivotal. Dad knew us, loved us, he said, voice steady. But cross-examination brutalized. Isn't this just greed disguised as romance? Ben faltered. Grant's heart screamed. Don't let them break him. After, Ben confessed. I almost lied. Grant hugged him. Truth hurts, but lies kill. The waiting was torture. Grant's mind raced. If we win, is it victory or exile? If we lose, do we run? The emotional toll mounted, each day heavier than the last. The verdict loomed like a guillotine, the courtroom packed with spectators hungry for drama. Grant's nerves frayed. Every glance from the jury a potential condemnation. What if they see us as abominations? He agonized, fingers twisting his tie. Ben sat beside him, pale but resolute, their knees touching in silent solidarity. Evelyn, across the aisle, avoided their eyes, her posture a wall of resentment. The judge entered and time slowed. "The will stands," he declared. "No evidence of undue influence." Cheers and boos erupted, but Grant felt no triumph, only a hollow ache. "We've won the money, but lost the family. Was it worth it?" Evelyn stormed out, Clara trailing, their departure a silent scream. Reporters swarmed. "How does it feel to tear a family apart?" Grant muttered no comment. But inside, "It feels like drowning." Ben pulled him away, into a cab racing through Manhattan streets. "We did it," Ben said, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Grant nodded, thoughts churning. Did we? Or did we just expose the fractures already there? At the hotel, away from the mansion's ghosts, they collapsed. "Mom will never forgive," Ben whispered, head in hands. Grant's guilt surged. "I pushed this. If I'd stayed silent, maybe." But silence had been their prison. "She might in time," Grant lied, hating the false hope. Ben looked up, eyes red. "And if not? We lose her. Clara. Everything." The words hung, heavy. Grant's mind screamed, "Choose me, please," but aloud, "Then we have each other." Ben pulled away slightly, the distance a chasm. The fallout was swift, brutal. Social invitations dried up, business deals evaporated. Grant's startup, a tech firm Richard had seeded, faced boycotts. "Investors pulling out," his partner called. "The scandal's too hot." Grant stared at the phone. My dreams, crumbling because of love? Or arrogance? Ben's job at the family firm was revoked. Evelyn's doing. "Find your own way." Her email read, cold as ice. Ben paced. "She raised me. How can she discard me?" Grant comforted, but doubted. "Am I enough to replace that?" A family friend, Uncle Harold, reached out, the only one. Over coffee, he sighed. Richard was brave, but naive. Society chews up outliers. Grant nodded, inner turmoil raging. Are we outliers or pioneers? Victims or villains? Harold added, "Evelyn's hurting. Give her space." But space felt like abandonment. Nights were worst. Grant lay awake, Ben's breathing uneven beside him. Flashbacks tormented. Childhood laughter with Clara, Evelyn's rare hugs. I stole that from him, Grant thought, tears silent. Ben stirred. "Can't sleep." "Thinking," Grant said. "About us. About everything." Their talk turned raw. "Do you blame me?" Grant asked. Ben hesitated, a dagger. "Sometimes. But I love you more." The confession soothed but scarred. Protests escalated outside their temporary apartment. Signs read, "Incest in Inheritance versus Love Wins." Grant watched from the window. We're pawns in a culture war. Did Dad intend this? A brick shattered glass one night, shouts echoing. Ben bandaged Grant's cut. "This is madness." Grant's fear peaked. Is our love a target now? They sought therapy, a neutral space. The counselor probed. What drew you together? Ben. Shared pain. Grant. Escape. Digging deeper revealed cracks. Ben's resentment of Grant's outsider status. Grant's envy of Ben's birthright. We bonded over exclusion, Grant realized, heart heavy. But is that foundation strong enough? Evelyn's olive branch came unexpectedly. A letter. Meet me. Alone. Grant went, nerves electric. At a quiet cafe, she looked aged, fragile. Why him? She asked, voice trembling. My son. Grant swallowed. Because he sees me. Tears flowed. Richard hid so much. Grant's empathy surged. Her world shattered too. Am I sorry? He loved you, Grant said. But he loved truth more. Evelyn left without resolution, but the door cracked open. Ben waited anxiously. What happened? Grant recounted, omitting his doubts. Progress, Ben said hopefully. But Grant thought, or just more pain. As weeks passed, isolation deepened. Friends ghosted, family silent. Grant's depression crept in, worthless. Intruder. Ben noticed. Talk to me. Grant exploded. I'm the reason you're alone. Ben recoiled. No, we're in this together. The fight escalated. Old wounds reopening. You had everything. Grant yelled. I took it. Ben's eyes flashed. You didn't take. I gave. Reconciliation came in tears, but fragility lingered. Turning point. Clara called. I miss my brother, she said to Ben. Tentative lunch followed. Grant excluded. Ben returned conflicted. She wants understanding. Grant's jealousy flared. Without me? But he smiled. Go. Inside. Am I losing him to normalcy? The emotional weight crushed harder, each revelation peeling layers of self-doubt. Grant journaled. Love isn't conquest. It's surrender. But to what? Reconciliation attempts fractured further. Clara's outreach a double-edged sword. At their second meeting, she pressed Ben. End this farce. Come home. Ben recounted it later, voice strained. She called you a tempter. Grant's anger boiled. Tempter? Or truth-teller? But beneath, crippling insecurity. Maybe she's right, he murmured. Ben's denial was fierce. No. Yet Grant saw the seed planted, doubt mirroring his own. If he leaves, do I blame him? Or myself for holding on? The mansion, now in probate limbo, became a battleground symbol. Evelyn invited Ben for talks, excluding Grant. Family only, she said. Ben went, returning shattered. She cried, begged me to choose. Grant's heart splintered. Choose her, and I'm erased. What did you say? That I love you. But Ben's eyes held unspoken turmoil. Grant's mind raced. He's sacrificing for me. Unfair. Unbearable. Media scrutiny evolved into think pieces. The Harrington heirs? Redefining family? Some sympathized, others vilified. A viral op-ed labeled them entitled deviants. Grant read it obsessively. Deviants? Or just human? Hate mail arrived. Threats veiled as advice. Repent. One read. Ben burned them, but the poison seeped. This is our life now? Ben asked, defeated. Grant hugged him. We'll adapt. Inside. Adapt or break. Therapy intensified. The counselor warning. Unresolved grief will destroy you. Grant confessed his deepest fear. I'm not worth it. Ben teared up. You are. But sessions unearthed Ben's resentments. You got the will. I got the fallout. Grant recoiled. Greed? No, protection. Dad chose me to shield us. Grant defended. Ben nodded. But the rift widened subtly. A surprise ally, Heir'S, mediating a family dinner. The table was tense, Evelyn stiff, Clara wary. Richard wanted unity, Heir'S began. Evelyn snapped. Not like this. Ben pleaded. Mom, accept us. Clara interjected. It's not acceptance. It's endorsement. Grant stayed silent, thoughts screaming. Endorsement of love or sin? The meal ended in shouts. Evelyn storming out. Useless, Ben muttered. Grant's guilt peaked. My presence poisons. Alone that night, Grant packed a bag secretly. Leave, give him freedom. But Ben caught him, running. Tears flowed. For you. Ben's embrace was desperate. Don't you dare. Their vulnerability bonded, but exhaustion loomed. Society's judgment infiltrated dreams. Grant woke screaming from nightmares of disownment. It's eating me, he admitted. Ben held him. Us. But Ben's own breakdowns followed. Panic attacks over lost normalcy. I miss my mom, he sobbed. Grant's empathy warred with jealousy. Miss her more than us? Legal loose ends tied, the estate transferred. Grant stared at the deed, mine, but tainted. They moved to a modest Brooklyn apartment, shedding luxury. Fresh start, Ben said. Grant agreed outwardly, inwardly. Start or end. Clara's wedding invitation arrived, Ben only. Come as my +1? Ben asked hopefully. Grant declined. Too soon. Ben went alone, returning distant. They asked about you. Grant probed. And I defended. But omission hung. Did you waver? The emotional crescendo built. Grant confronted his reflection. Fighter or fleeing? A call from Evelyn. Ben's here. Talking. Grant rushed over, heart pounding. Finding them in tears, hugging. Progress, Evelyn said stiffly. Grant's joy mixed with terror. Without me in the picture? Ben explained later. She wants to try. Grant smiled, but doubted. Try what? Erasing me? The strain peaked in argument. You're choosing them. No, us all. Ben yelled. Silence deafened. Grant whispered. Maybe us isn't enough. Therapy breakthrough. Codependency, the counselor said. Grant realized. Our love born in secrecy. Thriving in crisis? Ben admitted. I fear normal without you. Raw honesty healed, but scarred deeper. As months dragged, isolation bred paranoia. Grant questioned every glance. Does he regret? Ben's patience thinned. Stop doubting. The cycle vicious. A pivotal moment. Protests turned violent outside their building. Police intervened, but Ben was shoved, bruised. Enough, Ben declared. We leave New York. Grant agreed, but inside, running again? They relocated to California, hoping distance mends. But ghosts followed. Evelyn called sporadically, cautious warmth. Clara sent photos, tentative bridges. Grant's hope flickered. Family possible? Yet the toll manifested. Ben's depression, Grant's anxiety. We won the battle, Grant thought, but lost ourselves. The weight suffocating, emotions rawer than ever. The California sun did little to thaw the chill in their souls. The new house in San Francisco a fresh canvas stained by old wounds. Grant stared at the bay from their balcony, waves mocking his turbulence. We escaped but carried the chains. Ben joined him, arm around waist. Better here. Grant nodded, lying. Inside, better? Or just delayed decay? Evelyn's calls increased, her voice softening. I miss my boy. Ben's eyes lit up, but Grant's heart sank. Her boy, not ours. Integration into a more accepting community helped superficially. LGBTQ groups welcomed, stories shared. But Grant felt fraudulent. Our tale isn't triumph, it's tragedy. At a support meeting, a man shared his disownment. I chose love. Grant envied his certainty. Did I choose or force? Ben thrived outwardly. New job in tech. But nights revealed cracks. Dreamt of dad approving. Grant comforted, but resented. Approving us? Or you alone? Clara's visit was the catalyst. Arriving unannounced, she hugged Ben tightly. I've thought a lot. Over dinner, she addressed Grant. I was wrong. Scared. Grant's walls cracked. We all were. Tears flowed. Forgiveness tentative. But later, alone with Ben, she suggested therapy for us all. Grant's suspicion flared. To fix us? Or erase? Maybe, Ben said eagerly. Grant's refusal sparked fury. You're blocking healing. Healing into what? Pretending? The fight escalated, doors slamming. Grant collapsed, sobbing. Lost him. Lost everything. Reconciliation came dawn. Apologies whispered. But fragility deepened. Evelyn flew in next, a family summit. Seated in their living room, she confessed. Richard's secret broke me. But hating you broke me more. Ben embraced her. Grant watched outsider again. My role? Catalyst or casualty? Can you forgive? She asked Grant. If you accept us. She nodded slowly, trying. The moment bittersweet. Victory or compromise? Yet doubts persisted. Grant's therapy solo revealed imposter syndrome. Adopted gay heir always proving. Ben's sessions uncovered guilt for choosing you over them. Honesty brutalized. Do you regret? Ben hesitated. Moments, yes. Grant's world tilted. Moments? Enough to end? The climax brewed during a family vacation. Evelyn's idea, neutral Hawaii. Beaches hid tensions. Clara probed, happy now? Ben, yes. But Grant saw lies. Night walks alone. Grant confronted waves. Stay or set free. Overheard Evelyn to Ben. You deserve normal. Ben's response. This is my normal. Grant's relief mixed with rage. Defending, but doubting? The blow-up came at dinner. Evelyn toasted new beginnings. Grant snapped. Beginnings without secrets? Accusations flew. Past hurts regurgitated. You stole my son. Evelyn cried. He chose me. Grant retorted. Ben intervened. Stop. I love you both. But his eyes pleaded escape. The night ended in separate rooms. Grant's mind fracturing. Love triangle of family? Unsustainable. Morning brought clarity or crisis. Ben found Grant packing. Again. For good. Tears raged. Don't. You waver, Grant accused. Ben broke. I do. It hurts too much. The admission shattered. Hurt from me? They talked hours, peeling souls bare. Society scarred us, Ben said. But we scar each other now. Grant agreed. Love evolved into burden. Decision loomed. Separate to heal or fight on? They chose trial separation, Ben with family, Grant alone. Temporary, Ben promised. Grant nodded, heart dying. Temporary or terminal? Months apart amplified agony. Grant in therapy. I miss him, but not the pain. Calls dwindled, distance growing. Evelyn reached out. He's struggling. Grant's empathy. Without me? Reunion tentative, coffee neutral. Ben looked haunted. I need time. Grant's final plea. Was it worth it? Ben, yes. No, I don't know. Now Grant reflects alone. Love defied odds, but odds defied back. The estate, divided amicably, feels hollow. Family mends without him fully. Outcast again? In the end, the truth exposed not just romance, but the fragility of bonds. Society debates, families fracture, loves endure or don't. Was the adopted son's pursuit of love and inheritance ultimately selfish, dooming the family? True or false?